Hey everyone, welcome to the Dales Report podcast, and happy to be joined here today with the CEO of MariMed, Bob Fireman, back to the podcast. It's been a while, but how are things?
Well, everything's great. Love to be back.
Yeah.
Enjoyed our last show, and we're grateful for the content that you bring to the marketplace.
Well, I appreciate it. And U.S. cannabis, it's a hot topic right now. I don't think we can go anywhere without a day about anybody talking about it. But what are some of the things that you're hearing, seeing? I know your company in particular, it's a unique story. There's a lot of companies that have had 52-week lows, yet you're up 200 to 300% off the year. So do you find that people are starting to get more and more reacquainted with the story, the name? And if we see legislation movement, a very opportunistic investment opportunity for investors related to MariMed?
Well, I think that's true. I think I was on last March with you, and we were just wrapping up our year-end 2020 reports.
Yep.
The challenge of MariMed was to get its messaging out and tell the world that we transformed from a consulting advisory company to a full seed integrated seed to sale, multi-state operator.
Mm-hmm.
So in 2020, we refocused on our cannabis business, and we doubled our revenue to $51 million, and with great earnings. And I think at that time, with Massachusetts rolling into our corporate umbrella, and Illinois, and both those states going recreational as well as medical, we now could show sustainable revenue. So we gave guidance at that time for the first time of 100 million in revenue for 21, and projected earnings at EBITDA of 30 million.
That's big numbers.
Challenging, and I think we did that because we were doing so well in the first two quarters. We increased that guidance to 118 million and 42 million in adjusted EBITDA. And as you said, a lot of our fellow MSOs and public cannabis companies, their stocks have come down because of the market conditions, the political environment, and all the challenges we have.
Why do you think your stocks increased while others have been down? Because that's a notable, you don't hear about that right now. Fundamentally, the industry has never been healthier for a lot of players. But to your point, it's like, what do you contribute that, I guess, as to why the stock has performed well, yet others have not?
I think their stocks went up very high based on the future.
Yeah.
When people saw issues in the future, they brought it back down. Our stock, our company's a little different. We didn't go out and raise a ton of money like some of our other partners. We didn't do the CSE and raise hundreds of millions and start buying other companies to try to assimilate them into some culture. All our businesses are organically developed. We won the licenses, we built the facilities, we hired the sales force. There are our brands, our people, our SOPs. So we're an organically grown company with, in February of this year, we took on an equity investment from the Hadron company in Europe. We paid off all our debt. So yeah, I think they look at MariMed, debt-free, positive cash flow, profitable, and our revenue's doubling every year.
Yeah.
So I think with validated management, with the top-selling brands, we're no longer what Benzingen called us last year, the best kept secret in cannabis.
Yeah, it's nice.
And as good as you think it is, we still think we're the most undervalued stock. If we got some of the multiples of our MSO peers, our market cap and our stock price would be much higher today.
So 147% increase year over year, a 213% increase in adjusted EBITDA year over year, which is still rare, as I said, for a company within this sector. Were you happy? I guess I'm assuming that you would be with the overall performance. And, as we close out 2021, what's the focal point going into 2022 as far as additional large expansion in revenue and net income?
Well, we haven't given out 22 guidance yet. We will with our year end. Look, we're very conservative in how we do things here.
Yep.
We have a very disciplined approach to financial operations, which gives us the highest margins in the industry. But we're also, we don't bite off more than we can chew.
Mm-hmm.
So our strategic plan was to consolidate the balance of the businesses in the other states. So we have Massachusetts and Illinois in. This year, we hope to put in Maryland, Nevada, and Delaware. If they change the law from a not-for-profit, we can incorporate that. So organically, we can to sustain our continued growth of doubling our revenue and being very profitable.
What are your
That
thoughts?
being said-
Sorry, go ahead. Go on.
That being said, we're refocused on our brands. We've increased our bench strength with a new director of our marketing that had vast experience in the alcohol industry.
Yep.
So we're taking Betty's Eddies, which is the market leader in every state we're in, and we're upgrading it with new SKUs and new packaging, new advertising, new digital marketing. We're coming out with our, I think next week, we're going to launch our Bubbies baked goods.
It's great.
A new line of chewable soft pastry sort of products that we've tested and are killing it. In fact, next week we have a promotion where we've created the world's largest cannabis brownie, 840 pounds.
That's beautiful.
3 by 3 and 15 inches tall, and it's got 20,000 milliliters of cannabis oil in it. So
what's for breakfast, Bob? What's for breakfast, right?
yeah, you'll have to come visit us, Shad, and give it a try.
Well,
So
I'm on the plane now.
We launched a project with a famous ice cream brand here in New England,
Yep.
Emac and Bolio. So we're
Yep.
coming out with vegan and dairy ice cream, cannabis ice cream. And we're taking all our brands.
Yeah.
Part of our strategic growth is not only to consolidate the businesses that we built in other states, but to expand our brands into other states. So we're looking either to license or acquire production and distribution in another 5 to 10 states this year so that we get these top selling brands in other stuff. We're also going deeper into the states we're in. In Illinois, our 4 dispensaries, since I saw you last, we opened a dispensary in a place called Metropolis,
Okay.
home of Superman.
It's home of
You
Superman.
and I are old enough to remember Superman.
Yeah, I know, huh?
I was there cutting a ribbon in front of the Superman World Headquarters, and the lines of people.
That's fun.
At Southern Illinois town were off the charts.
So let me ask you, I hear Massachusetts, I hear Illinois. It's incredible what those states have generated. Now Nevada. Is the sentiment pretty much the same based on the excitement and the growth of the industry, regardless of what state you're operating in?
Every state's different.
Is it?
You talk about the acceleration, everyone's talking in states, southern states are now coming out, but the atmosphere is different. The political taint is different. But I think the wind is in our sails.
Yeah.
The money that the states are making, the amazing amount of new customers that are adding to the mix, create big opportunity for cannabis companies.
Yeah.
The more dispensaries. In Illinois, we're looking to go vertical. We'll probably acquire one of these craft licenses. We can acquire and have up to 10 dispensaries. So we're processing that. We're looking for single operators in Michigan or Missouri that share our vision, that would want to be part of a bigger, stronger company with brands and capital and professional staff. So we're going to organically grow from what we have on our assets already. We're going to go deeper into the states. We'll open this year 2 dispensaries in Massachusetts, 2 more. We may get up to 10 in Illinois.
Yep.
So we're on a growth to get to tier 2, if not higher compared to our other MSOs.
So
However, we're not going to do it without, it's got to be accretive. Every transaction we do, our financial discipline has to be our guiding light.
you mentioned earlier, you feel like some of these MSOs have bit off more than they could chew. Should there be any cause for concerns as to how, this industry will roll out for investors based off of that? And I don't want to say how do you capitalize off of that, but how do you be, I guess, strategic to avoid something like that based on your business model?
Well, our business model, we just wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
I mean, we're a value sort of business guys. We're new to the capital markets. We get concerned about multiples of next year or the year after's projected earnings and revenue. We try to believe everything's going to go wrong. Let's plan for what goes wrong, and when things go right, we look much better.
Right.
So I think,
Do you think some MSOs have bit off more than they could chew? And if so, what do you think that means?
well, I think you've seen it in some companies and names that everybody knows had issues, from Acreage to Ianthus.
Yeah.
Some of the other guys are operated more with capital market and banker guys that are looking for multiples. If things go right, they're going to hit a home run. But those stocks to us are much more risky than ours. So it depends, risk versus reward.
Yeah, of course.
I think when you take, any industry, when you assimilate other businesses, there's an issue of culture, and system.
Mm-hmm.
In any industry. In cannabis, it's even higher. So assimilating different businesses with different cultures, different growing methods, different technologies is a challenge just to get bigger. So we're applying organically now in New Jersey. We applied in Ohio. As more of these licenses come up, we're organizing to apply in New York. We're committed to diversity and inclusion, and
Yeah.
We have lots of groups like that we support, and we'll do joint ventures or mentor people so that this industry can get more people in that can sustain themselves,
Right.
and earn a living in our culture.
Which is important.
Yes.
Have to ask, looking back at 2021 and where you are today versus where you were 12 months ago, if you could kind of craft together what you think you've learned most about this industry and how that'll benefit you moving forward going into 2022, what would it be?
Well, I think it's COVID and the pandemic was the biggest challenge I think I've ever seen in business. And we were very fortunate that most states considered this an essential industry.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think learning how to protect your own employees, creating a new culture within us. And I think when people come to see us, they see more of they walk into our facilities and we know everybody, and it's more of a family. It's creating an atmosphere of success, making everyone that works in our company part of the company.
Yeah.
Really getting them included in how we think. We just set up a new performance review standard based more on lifestyle than on numbers. I mean, so we're trying to create a culture. So I guess the biggest learning thing was how to protect the safety and the health of our employees, our customers, and how we could sustain our industry and grow within that environment.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest challenge of everybody in this country.
Mm-hmm.
As we look at this new Omicron thing, we just hope we're not going to go back to those horrible days that we've gone over in the last 2 years.
Yeah, I hear you. It's alarming, to say the least, but from what you've heard the last couple of weeks. But I will say though, this industry has persevered through so much adversity, and the growth that it's sustained, especially over the last 18 months, has been very, very impressive. And I think, a lot of investors still are frustrated from a legislation standpoint. Fundamentally, it's incredible when I hear stories like yourself, and I do believe that you're very undervalued. But speaking of legislation, where do you think we're at? the NDAA, the safe banking, was delayed a little bit. I've spoken to a lot of people. They feel it's different this time. We could see something before the end of the year or maybe into January. What's your take on all of it?
Our take is, I think back in June or July, we got excited.
Yeah.
And I think we all felt that Senator Schumer was going to move this himself. You know, when the House passed the original bill and it got to the Senate, and the Senate said, we're going to do our own and it's going to be better. We all got excited. I mean, from a MariMed standpoint, being on the OTCQX,
Yeah.
I was excited I might have a path to NASDAQ.
Yeah.
And avoid having to come to the CSE or do a listing. And then it all fell apart with everything else in Washington. So we were all grossly disappointed when Cory Booker started to look for things that Schumer wouldn't do. The whole thing blew up, and now it got into infrastructure and voting rights, and our government is really,
It's kind of crazy, isn't it?
yeah.
Last January, I think once the Dems control the Senate, it was here we go. And I can't help but feel I'm actually kind of speechless 11 months later that what's unfolded has unfolded. But again,
It
go ahead.
wasn't just Democrats. I mean, the millennials in the elections. I mean, both Republicans and Democrats, they went for the millennial vote, so they all became somewhat pro marijuana. We thought that was a given. So it's not partisan.
Yeah.
So it fell apart. I think safe banking will get through. I saw a Republican effort a few weeks ago, was encouraging.
It's good.
But I don't see anything happening this year. We hope for the first quarter. Safe banking, decriminalization, some other things will be helpful. I don't think we're going to see legalization on a federal level for years.
Yeah, I agree. But if safe banking does pass, do you think that's much of a concern for people about federal?
No.
No.
I think, we've been at this over 10 years.
I know.
I mean, we saw you couldn't bank, you couldn't cash, people dealing with cash, no credit, no. So people have done workarounds, that we've made the business work. Safe banking would open up a lot of doors, let people have some normal credit. Some of the things that we have to do are so onerous that this industry is overtaxed, overregulated.
Yes.
No banking, no credit.
Yeah.
So that's it. I mean, it's obviously the equity market's dried up. So now banks are offering us debt, but you know, debt is expensive and it's a lot higher than regular commercial rates.
Well,
So
just think if that safe banking passed, I can't help but think like the 280E tax code overnight, you know, how your numbers would be adjusted and basically everything you're doing right now would double overnight based on normal corporate tax rates. But I think a lot of people forget to understand the corporate tax rates that these companies are paying, no credit, and yet still producing the amount of revenue that it is. And if safe banking does pass, what kind of positive effects do you think it will have on your top line?
I think you said it.
Yeah.
You charge back from 280E is 35%.
Yeah.
That goes away. Our profitability, it won't affect our top line, but our profitability will go way up. I'm not the numbers guy here.
Yeah.
But on the retail side, if it could double, that's great. So our EBITDA would be even higher. I mean, I think it's necessary. I think with more stores, I mean, competition and margins are going to come down.
Yeah.
So you look at, new 150 dispensaries in Illinois. In Massachusetts, there's over 176 dispensaries open. So there's more people in it. I think what's really exciting about this industry, there's never been a time when there's more people coming into the category.
I know.
So that makes this a home run. So as good as things are now, we're adding people, and I mean, there's women.
Well, when you add Bill Gap,
that are moving. I mean, habitual. These beverage categories going really well. People are moving off of a glass of wine or a beer and having a glass of
100%.
soda.
Well, it's a great move. You build relationships, you hire somebody in marketing branding with big alcohol background. So you have those relationships. They're going to get into distribution, obviously, real soon. But it's good that you're cutting through the clutter when it comes to the branding. That is so important. And I think a lot of people are starting to grasp onto the idea. And now we're starting to see these creative ideas. So I think it's a good idea that we go to Washington and we get these guys down here and we show them this brownie, Bob. We got to get them in front of this brownie. The bipartisan brownie. What do you think?
I think you and I ought to get a little forklift and drive it right into the rotunda of the U.S. Congress.
Like one of those Michael Moore documentaries.
Yes,
Just cruising around out front, right? Well, listen.
I've seen Michael could eat the whole brownie.
Yeah, I think you're right.
You and I home.
Well, listen. Congrats on the year. For those watching, keep obviously MariMed on your radar because, as I said, as MSOs have had 52-week lows, big increase for the year. So congrats on that. And like a lot of companies right now, fundamentally, just another great story. So when the opportunity does present itself within this industry, this is definitely one that I think investors should keep an eye on. But I appreciate your time. Let's keep in touch and best of luck heading into 2022.
Thank you so much, Shad, and happy holidays to everybody out there and to you and your family.
Thank you. You as well, Bob. Thank you.